decision did you make, and where did you go?
Yes, at this point, it felt like it was my decision to make. And that was something that I felt on the inside, like this is my decision and I need to figure this out. Like nobody's going to figure this out for me. Like I need to do this on my own. So at this point, my family knows. Finally had that conversation with my children as well, which that was very tough, but it got done and they took it pretty well. I have my husband's sister had a contact with a friend, and she recommended a few places for me to go. So the first place that I went to is in San Diego, and it's called Optimum Health Institute, and it's a place where it mostly you just like detox the body, right?
Right.
And I didn't think that I was going to go there like to heal the cancer, but it was more of like the first place that I wanted to go so I can be away from the family, away from the house, and figure the whole thing out, right?
So you went there so do you have like a health insurance plan that this is covered under as you're going to the doctor? Is this all covered by your medical insurance?
No, there was no health insurance that would cover that.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Yes. So the cost for 1 week at the Optimum Health Institute was $2,500. That was 1 week. And they have a great program there. Like I really like the program they have because they truly help you detox and you just feel alive because it's all raw. So it's a raw diet, wheatgrass shots in the morning. They do wheatgrass enemas, which is very, very healing. And I read the story of, the place and why, how they came up with that program. And it's actually, to help people heal from different illnesses, but they cannot advertise it like that because of, how things work.
Right.
But I was there more than anything just to think, right? And at the same time, the whole program helped me a lot because I did feel that I was able to think more clearly because I was just like in this brain fog.
Yeah.
I just had this heavy brain fog where I couldn't really think. And it's just crazy because I couldn't even like speak sometimes. I would try to speak and I couldn't really get the words out. Or I would say,
amazing,
like neurologically, something was just off completely. So I'm there, I do my week. My husband comes to pick me up. And when he comes to pick me up, I tell him, I'm not going home yet. I need to go to TJ, Mexico, because that's where the other clinics where I felt I needed to go.
So were they affiliated with Optimum, or was this just another on your list?
Another one
on your list. And I'm going to guess that this also wasn't covered by your insurance?
It was not covered by my insurance, and that's where the cost was just extremely high compared to Optimum, right? So it was just recommended. So so my husband comes, I talk to him and I say, I think I need to go to TJ and I need to check out a couple of places.
TJ being Tijuana, Mexico.
Tijuana.
Yeah,
yes.
Just in case anybody, Tommy John or what.
Yes, and of course, he said, I'll go with you. And I said, no, I need to do this on my own. And that was the voice talking again, right? I need to do this on my own. Of course, it was scary for me to go by myself, right? Especially I'm like searching for a cancer clinic in Mexico. So who wouldn't want their husband to come, right?
Yeah.
And it just, I felt I had no choice. There was something bigger than myself saying you have to go on your own.
So this is a crazy part of the story because, if you've listened to what Yesenia said so far, she's told her family, she's told her husband, she's talked to her children, which must have been really tough, talking to her children.
Yeah.
And all of this, but yet the decision is all on you. You're taking it all on yourself, as if, you kind of must feel something internally that is driving you to say, you know what, you're going to just have to deal with this. This is on you. Where most people kind of gravitate towards, I'm going to listen to this person. You went just the opposite. You said, you know what, I'm only listening to one person, and that's me. And the voice, and anything else that's inside of you. So that's pretty gutsy, I think, to do that.
Yeah, it's not easy, for sure. It's not easy. So my husband takes a train back home, and I drive to TJ. Before I drove there, while I was at Optimum Health Institute, I started meditating and praying every single day. And my biggest prayer was, when I go to Tijuana, Mexico, please show me, give me a sign. I was begging and praying for a sign. Give me a sign. I'm going to go and check these 2 places. Show me which one is going to be the right one, where I'm going to heal the cancer.
Right. So is this the first time that you thought, this problem is bigger than me, this problem is bigger than anything I can do, so now I'm going to reach out to God and I'm going to say, can you help me? Is that kind of what happened?
Yes, that's the first time, being away from the family and the responsibilities, and having that week just for myself, where I actually told my family, don't call me, don't text me. I want this week for just to go within and really just search for answers and ask for help, right? I knew it was bigger than myself, but at this point, I'm still thinking this is something physical. There was something saying, no, it's more than physical. And I had that awareness. I was just trying to ignore it. I'm just thinking, this is physical, and I'm asking God for help, and just give me a sign. So I drive to TJ, Mexico. I went to the first place. I had the interview with the doctors, and they explained everything. And I just, I wasn't feeling it, right? I'm like, like there's nothing in here. And I'm looking everywhere. I don't know what I was looking for, right? I'm looking at the walls. I'm looking at the trees. I'm looking at the sky. Like, show me, like, is this the place? Nothing, right? Then I go to the second place, and I walked in there, and they just seemed like a better clinic in the way that, there's doctors, and I saw a lot of patients. The other place, they pretty much just give you something that you take home and you drink it at home. And the other place was more hands-on. Like, you come in here, we'll do testing. You stay with us for 3 weeks, and we're going to do all these different IV therapies. It was all natural, of course, because I was just not going to do chemo radiation, right? And even though, it made more sense, like in my head, like this might be a better place for me, but I was looking for that sign, and there was no sign. I got back in my car, I drove back, and I'm just driving back, and I am feeling just kind of like just devastated. Like, I don't know what to do yet. I came here looking for a sign. There's no sign. What am I going to do? When I was at Optimum, there was more hope. Like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to see a sign, and everything's going to be fixed, right? I go to the places. I see no sign. I'm driving back. And I call my husband, and I tell him, I'm not going to drive all the way home to Granada Hills. I'm going to stay in San Diego because I'm tired, right? I'm tired, and I just don't see myself driving. And, in reality, I just didn't want to go home because I had no idea what I was going to do. And I felt responsible to know what to do because I already went away for a week.
Right.
And then went on my own to TJ. I should know, like, I just, like in my mind, I'm thinking I should know what to do. I should be responsible enough to go home and say, this is what I'm going to do, and everything's going to be perfect, right? So I stayed in a hotel, and something beautiful happened when I was there. So when I got to the hotel, I was just emotionally a mess, a complete mess, no energy. I was just like, all hope, everything had left me. I walk in, I just put my, stuff on the side of the bed, and I literally just dropped on my knees. I dropped on my knees and I cried for hours, and I fell asleep on my knees on the bed, just crying. I fell asleep, so I kind of woke up, I went on the bed, and I just, kept crying and went back to sleep. I had the most beautiful dream, Steve. I had the most beautiful dream. I had a dream so most of the dreams that I was having prior to this dream, every dream since the diagnosis, all the dreams were about disease and illness and me dying and me looking like a cancer patient. All dreams were nightmares. And in this dream, I am walking. It looks like it's a park. It's green. It's beautiful. There's beautiful trees. The sky is beautiful and blue. And I'm not aware of what's happening in my life, right? I'm just enjoying. I'm just walking.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I look up and I see a flock of birds just flying together. You know how they do this thing, right? And I'm looking and I'm just like, oh, that's so beautiful. And I see that they're forming a shape, and I have no idea. I'm just like staring. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting emotional because all of a sudden they formed a heart. They form a heart, a perfect heart in the sky. And when I saw that, everything came, like, oh, I was aware of the entire thing. I was aware that I was dreaming. I was aware that there was so many things happening in my life and where I was. And I dropped on my knees in my dream, and I just felt like my heart just like open, like something just like crack open. But it was not sadness, or it was not fear. It was pure love. It was pure love, unconditional love. I just can't explain it. You just can't explain, but it was like an explosion in my heart. And I just started repeating over and over, this is my sign. This is my sign. Thank you, God. You gave me the sign I was looking for. And then I woke up.
Yeah, so I mean, this is I didn't know this part of your story, by the way, but this is a very interesting part of the story because, there's several things that happen in this. First of all, Yesenia said, you know what? I'm on my knees. I'm at the foot of the cross. I'm looking at you, Jesus, and I'm saying, help me. Somebody help me, because I've gone as far as I can go, and this is it. So being on her knees and then having a vision about birds, in the Bible, God uses birds a lot as messengers, and so you had a whole flock of birds, which is an amazing story, and then they formed a heart, which we know Jesus is all about love, right? Love and peace. And so she got this message, this very strong message, which I didn't know about. And I had a similar situation happen to me where I was, on my testimony, and something very similar happened to me. I was also came off of being on my knees and saying, I've hit the end. This is it. It's probably the end of my life. It's just, there's no answers anymore. And that night, I also was visited. And my heart felt like it was on fire, like it was going to come out of my chest. Yes. And after I think of the movie or the cartoon, The Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I don't know if you ever saw that cartoon. The Grinch is this, he's against Christmas and he doesn't really know why, but when he finally saw the light, and he saw that Christmas was actually good, his heart grew 3 times the size. It just went boom, boom, boom. And then he really got emboldened, and he felt the spirit of Christmas, which was it was a cartoon, but it was a great story. So you felt your heart enlarge. I felt my heart enlarge. And I hope anybody out here, if you've experienced this yourself, leave us a comment and let us know, because we'd be interested to know. I didn't know this happened to her. So, it's exactly what happened to me. So anyway, so now you're in the hotel. Mm-hmm. You've had this vision of that everything's going to be okay somehow.
Yes,
you don't know how. You don't know how yet, because you're still, you're in a hotel room in San Diego. You're still diagnosed. You still got, some issues going on, but you've got this overwhelming feeling that it's going to be okay.
Yes, that was my confirmation. That was the sign that I was looking for. I know in my heart that everything's going to be okay. So, I wake up with that feeling, just like you're saying, felt like my heart was like 3-4 times, 10 times
just
bigger.
Exploding.
The feeling was still there. So I got really excited. I start packing and I drive home. I get home, walk in, say to my husband and kids, I know what to do. I'm going to go to Hope for Cancer. And I did not know how we were going to do that, because the cost was $45,000 for those 3 weeks of in clinic, and then they give you 3 months of treatment to take home. And usually when you're there, there's more things that, we'll go into it, into the whole program, but it ended up being a lot more than that. But yeah, now we're just facing the challenge of the financial the situation. But, it was my life. It was my life. And I really felt that it just had to be done.
Yes.
So we got the money, and the following day after I came back, so I came back on a Wednesday and I left on a Thursday to Hope for Cancer. Okay,
so I think we're going to take a quick break right here, because this is a lot to unpack right now, what's happening in her life. And I think the main takeaway, at least for me, is the voice you heard all along was God talking to you. He was guiding you. And we're going to figure out, we're going to go through the story, and with Yesenia, we're going to figure out why didn't God like that perfect life for you, and why did he put you in this situation? Because we're going to find out. So we'll be back.